Welcome in, everybody. Ty Bartell in with another edition of Coach's Corner. This time we go to our friends over in Portage County, home of the Windham Bombers, with the Windham girls basketball coach, J.J. Collins, or Jim Collins, joining me today. Coach Collins, how are we doing today?
Pretty good, pretty good.
I always like to start off in the practices right now because that's what's going on. I mean, I know opening day starts tomorrow for some teams. It's the tip off for high school basketball for girls. But in practices and what you're seeing, what have you liked and what have you taken away positively from practices?
The quality additions and athletic ability. We are playing much faster this year and way more energy at this current time.
Let's take a second to kind of meet that team a little bit. I know the roster may not be finalized, but what are some names we can expect out of Windham this year?
I got three pretty decent guards. Mariah Woods, very good ball player. Bria Daniels, also a very good ball player. Both of them are seniors, been in the program for 4 years. Both of them have an outside chance at 1,000 points. And then we have an addition of a very athletic junior, Quinn Justin. She's going to be a helpful addition, both with energy and athletic ability. And then we got a 6-foot Brazilian foreign exchange student, Lorena. I'm going to say Della Vadova is her last name, but I'm not 100% certain that that's the right way to pronounce it. She's coming along really well. She's understanding concepts and figuring out how to play the game over here. She'll be a big help. And then our last starter will be another senior, Abby Simpson. She's been in the program a couple of years. She's kind of like the glue of the team. She does all the small things. She's not so much a great scorer, but she's a very good rebounder. She works her tail off on defense, and she kind of pulls the whole unit together.
You always need one of those on the team too, Coach. You need those type of players to fill those type of roles, no doubt. Coach, it sounds like you have a lot of players with experience on that team. When you talk about this season in particular, does that allow you to kind of implement more with sets, or are you more of a more heir to the freelance of basketball and just kind of let them get the comfortability? And now that they have that experience and comfortability with each other, you could just kind of let them go out there and play ball.
Yeah, it's kind of a mixture. We run a bunch of sets. But really, when the ball's in Mariah's hands or Bria's hands, they get the opportunity to freelance. They've earned it. 4 years of hard work. Trust them both with the ball. Quinn's getting close to being put in that position. She's going to do some ball handling. We try to run somewhat of a controlled offense, but again, we're best when we're out on the run. So letting them freelance a little bit. You got to give them some freedoms until you start giving the ball away too much, and then you got to reel them in a little bit and set it good into some sets.
It's always nice having multiple girls that can handle the rock as well, too. It just kind of opens things up offensively. When you talk about strengths of this team that you're going to have to play to get wins, obviously don't give out your whole playbook or anything like that, no doubt. But when you talk about the strengths that you're going to need to play to get wins, what would you say the strengths of this team would be in the way too early preseason look of them?
Our defensive approach. We're almost to the point where I'm comfortable saying that we are relentless on defense. And we're probably going to cause more turnovers than in the past handful of years for sure.
And I mean, you're going to need them in that conference too. It's an interesting look too in that NAC conference this year. Talk a little bit about the conference you play in, the conference competition that you're going to see around you this year, and what's it going to take for you guys to compete for that top spot.
So Badger's always a very good program, as well as Bristol, Pie Mattooming Valley. They don't like Pie Valley, so we'll go with Pie Mattooming Valley.
I've made the same mistakes. I know. I got taught too, Coach. Don't worry.
But yeah, it's a pretty decent conference. I think it'll be pretty well balanced. I think everybody can throw their hat in the ring as of right now. Should separate out. Numbers is becoming a problem for some of us smaller schools. Obviously, we're having trouble with some of the smaller schools fielding JVs, so gaining experience is a little bit of a problem. But overall, I think it'll be a pretty evenly balanced conference. Badger might push out, but I think overall both big and small sides. It should be pretty well balanced.
You're also into the county a lot this season as well too in your non-conference schedule. I mean, I see a lot of Portage County teams, the likes of Rootstown, the likes of Mogador, right on that Portage Summit County line. When you look at this non-conference schedule, I know some of the ones I mentioned are probably going to be exciting for you. What are some other ones that kind of excite you to have the girls challenge themselves against this year?
The last game of the year. We played them pretty well at their place last year, and they pulled away late. And I think it was a numbers thing more than a skill set thing. So having a couple extra hands in varsity that you can cut loose. We got a real nice freshman in Mackenzie Blockinger. Brielle Jones is obviously coming back as a sophomore. Sydney Sweet took a big step forward. So I'm looking forward to those teams that could run us out of the gym, that we get a chance to battle this year and maybe not be run out, maybe get to stay in the fight a little longer and see how my girls react to it.
Are you one of the coaches schedule-wise that you kind of want to see a little bit of everything everyone has to offer? You kind of want a buffet of what kind of different teams are running? Obviously, every team has different strengths. Are you trying to see all the strengths out there?
I am. I really like the challenge of the different types of offenses we see. Defensively, most teams start out in man, but for the most part, they fall back into zone. I think man-to-man defense is kind of going away. It's my staple. I like to play it. I think if you have athletic enough kids, it's the best defense to play. That's my personal opinion. But for the most part, like Rootstown, they'll play full length of the floor, man-to-man defense, run and jump, which is great. I like that. The balance of seeing everything, it will help us for the tournament. And Mr. Gross does a wonderful job of getting me a tougher schedule with schools that we have to work to be competitive with, and I like it a lot.
I want to talk a little bit about this community and this program and your involvement in it a little bit too, because I always like coaches that they stick with that program too, and they show a lot of love and passion. And I can already see you have a lot of love and passion for this program. What was your journey like getting into Windham basketball too, and what keeps you coming back every year?
So I'm a graduate of Windham. I started off in the youth program, not at Windham, the youth program at the neighboring county, Garrettsville. Most Windham people aren't going to like that. Spent a lot of years learning the game, a lot of years talking to Coach Hill, who I admire greatly. And then finally I got an opportunity to move into the junior high ranks, Windham. Little backstory, I have 3 daughters, so I have coached boys for a handful of years, but most of my years have been with girls. I have 3 daughters. It's easier for me to understand where they're coming from than some coaches because I've raised 3 girls. I spent a handful of years, 6 or 7 years in junior high, and then I got promoted up to varsity. And yeah, I spend all year round, just like every other head coach. How can I make every kid in my gym better? How can I get them prepared, not only for basketball season, but sports helps you more with life because you have to be a part of a team. I mean, you work within a team. Everybody's got to be on the same page. And I like relaying that message to them. And they're finally starting to understand that hard work does pay off. They're seeing it this year. We had a very good scrimmage season. We traveled up to Geneva and we played Geneva and North. And I thought we handled ourselves very well up there. We were very competitive. And then last night we had a foundation game with Newton Falls, and we took care of business and handled ourselves very well. So I think they can see my passion for the game now, and there's more questions being asked and more understanding of what we're looking for. And I think they also understand that what we're doing in the gym, as far as demanding work hard, demanding give your best effort, is going to help them later down the road.
I'm excited to see what your team has to offer on the hardwood this year, and I can't wait to get out and see some of these games for you guys. You talked about all your experience, Coach, and you have a lot of experience in the sport of basketball. What would you say one of the biggest things you've learned along your way in coaching is?
Truth.
Truth. Hit me with it.
Truth is understanding that you can do everything you're supposed to do. You can have them prepared. and you can go into a game and you can play checkers or chess, what however coaches want to describe it, and still come out on the losing end and still win.
That's the thing you love about sports, right? And it's the same thing about life. You could put in all the work and all the preparation, and then sometimes it still won't go your way. No
You
doubt,
know
coach.
what? The best advice I was given to, and I won't tell you who gave it to me, but he said his words were exactly, you can do everything you're supposed to do. You can prepare them, you can get them ready, but you can't win the game for them.
And I mean that's the truth, right? And you need that buy-in from kids. And I mean, now that you guys are starting to get that, I think it's going to be really exciting for this program to see. Let's talk a little bit about that community around it. You were a part of it as a graduate too. I know that Bomber community is tight knit. I know that gym gets loud for basketball games, both boys and girls. What's it like to have such a tight knit community surrounding you guys?
It's pretty amazing. But there's a lot of support. There's a lot of. I mean, we could always use more. I would like to see a packed house more often, but there's a lot of support. There's a lot of parents that are willing to do things to help the team out. Goodie bags, stuff like that. It's overwhelming sometimes because you run into people that are selfless and they're willing to do things to help you out, and you're not really sure why, because there's really no reward for it. But then you understand where you're from, and you played in the program, so you know it happens. And it in the beginning it was rough to take in, but now I get it. I understand. People, just everybody in the village of Windham wants to be a part of that team in some sort of way.
Coach, you talked about it, building a program. It's a team effort. You can't do it yourself. So I want to know about the team you put around yourself, the staff that's around you this year. Give them a shout out, shout out some names that are helping you with this Bombers program.
So I got Coach Hankins, who is a teacher at the school. He's been with me most of my varsity head coaching career. He's a wonderful coach. He gives me insight into the little things, like I tend to overthink the small things, and he kind of helps me get out of the overthought process on them small things. He has a very good basketball mind. He understands the concept we're pushing for. He understands the game. He'll always get my attention on the bench and say, we need to try this, or watch out for this. This is what she's doing. And it's been a great relationship for me and him. I love him to death. I think he's a wonderful coach. He helps me out immensely. And then in my junior high, I got Mr. Burns, who is also the principal of the high school, who runs the junior high program with assistant coach Larry Jones. And both of them are all in on the hard work and being fundamentally sound at that level, which we are going to start seeing pay off now and going forward, because we've implemented a system that we think will work. No more letting kids dictate the tempo of what we're going to do. We're going to put in work, and if it's bothersome to you, maybe it's not for you, and we can accept that. But hard work and fundamentally sound is what we're kind of hanging our hats on right now, and it seems to be working. We should have a pretty good year. I'm pretty excited for this year for sure.
I love it. I'm excited for it as well, Coach, and I'm excited to get back to that gym. My final question for you, Coach, and it's kind of a theme question I'm asking all head coaches this year, and it goes back to the love of the sport of basketball. It's what got us started. It's what keeps us going, no matter our role in it each and every year. Where'd that love start for you, Coach? Do you have a pinpoint moment or an earliest memory?
I do. It was 85, 86 season. The Bombers made a beautiful run. I was a little yard rat running around acting like a knucklehead. My uncle was on that team. And the first time I got to go to a game and sit in the front row and watch it, I've been hooked on it ever since. I can't get enough of it. I challenge myself every year to get better at one aspect of it, whether it be actually playing still or coaching, more towards coaching last couple of years, because I am over 50 now. So it's constantly a challenge for me. I'm always pushing myself to learn something new about the game or an approach to the game with the kids. And I think I'm a better coach now than I was a couple of years ago, but I don't think that's for me to decide. That's for somebody else to decide. But inside my heart, I feel like I've gotten better at understanding the kids and understanding the situation, and also getting them to understand where I'm coming from and getting better at it.
And that's the thing I love the most, coach, too. I love that you're brutally honest about that, too. And I mean, it's not a lot of these high school coaches, they're not professionals. They're learning, they're trying to get better each and every year, just as the kids are, too. So I respect the heck out of you, always trying to improve your craft as well. I'm excited for this Windham Bombers season, man. I'm excited to get back out there and get to see some games of your guys this season. And we're excited to have you guys on the network here at YSN once again.
The only thing I can promise you is get ready for a lot of run and go action because we're not backing off. We're going full throttle.
Oh, I'm ready for it, coach. Full speed ahead, and we're ready for it as well here on the network. We're rooting for you, and we wish you the best of luck this season.
Thank you, and I appreciate what you guys do for our little community.
No doubt, coach. This has been a first edition of Coach's Corner with the skipper over at Windham Girls Basketball, Jim Collins.